carrying this. My original is item number, my agenda. Motion to defer to the May 10, 2016 meeting, seconded by Councilman Strong on the question.
Mr. President.
Councilman Washington.
Discussion.
It is discussion, correct? We can have discussion.
It is our custom to allow, something the chair to allow discussion and deferment under Robert's rules. Do the way most of the people say don't, but we have to ask.
We've always asked the question, so we've got something to say. I guess if you guys don't want to do it in the future, I won't, but if you have something to say, the floor is yours.
Mr. President, last year, this was my first year here. One thing, when I was elected, one thing I promised to do would be a good fiscal steward. Be over the budget to make sure that, according to the issues at hand, to make sure that we're not just increasing taxes to increase the taxes to hurt the citizens. We increased the taxes by 1.5%. And the reason I say that is last year, when I asked every department, when they want to pay previous year bills with this year funds, I asked them, was this because of the late bill? Most everyone said, I think everyone said at that time, yes, it was a late bill. We turned from it. I know for a fact that Councilman Strong had brought this up, the question as well. At that time, I took the word for it. So as I'm here this year, on Thursday, we had a workshop. And in that workshop, I asked a question. The question was, are we holding the bills because we don't have money, or because they're receiving it? The answer was, because we don't have the money. Now, fundamentally, I have an issue with that. The reason why I have an issue with this is because when we set the budget, and we had a tough time setting the budget last year, in terms of making sure that we hold everyone accountable for the amount of money that's allocated to the county. That's a way of circumventing the budget, to hold the bills to the end of the year and say, you know what, don't pay them until the next year. And then next year come around, then you want to pay the bills. Right now, we're on pace, beginning of the second quarter, of $2.5 million over the budget. $2.5 million, I heard us talking about roads today, I heard us talking about all kinds of things today. That's something that I think we, as a council, needs to hold everyone accountable. And at that point, the question was brought up to me and said, hey, Jamal, you do not understand. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Let me do a little research myself. And with the research I found, it's two ways you can correct the budget. You can keep throwing money at the budget, or you can try to manage what you have. What we have right now is, as I look, the little bit I looked at already, I'm looking at $2.9 million increase in our medical consultant from 2013 into now. I'm looking at $1.1 million from the replacement of Edgewater. That's the mental health. I'm looking at $2.5 million that's going over the budget for previous year bills. That's a total of $6.5 million. That's the issue. And then when people tell me, Jamal, you do not understand. What I understand is that we ask our citizens to pay 1.5% increase. And I do not believe that we're doing our job. I'm not saying anything that's over there is not supposed to be. I'm not saying that he's doing it wrong. But what I'm saying is we need to be more aggressive in a lot of areas. And hopefully we can start delving into that. So the reason why in any bills that's brought today for the sheriff, I'm looking to defer. Now,
Mr. Chairman.
Well, one second, Councilor Franklin, he still has the floor as soon as he's finished.
I thought he was.
No.
so with that being said, I would like to look at a few ways of changing a couple of things that we talked about. Outsourcing our health insurance as far as the billing portion of it. I mean, there has to be a better way. There has to be. There must be a better way. The solution is not bonding out every year. The solution is not going to be to raise the taxes. The answer is for us to be our stewards and say, hey, what else can we do? Can we go off a bid? Has everything been bidded out with a proper RFP? But, thank you.
Councilor Franklin?
Mr. Chairman, since I am the chairperson of the Sheriff's Department, I will be asking for the committee members and I to sit down with the sheriff And then we explore every avenue that we have available to try to minimize and find out what is it that we can do to help the sheriff. Because no matter how we look at it, at the end of the day, we still got to pay the bills. So I intend, and I will have a committee meeting with the sheriff, because we can't iron it out here on the floor, and give him an opportunity to go back and take a look at his budget and see what it is that he can do to help correct the situation. So I want to give him that opportunity, Mr. Chairman, and that is why I asked for a deferral.
Is there any further comments, council?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll have one comment, and that is that there are maybe some solutions to this. Because we allow all departments to come before us and pay late bills, because they come in at the end of the year with 2016 funds, we must realize that that's going to short this current year's funds. What we can do when you run out of money, first of all, in the contracts for the vendors, maybe there needs to be something that states that they must submit their bills within 30 days. And perhaps at the end of the year, because there's no more to encumber, no more funds to encumber for bills that you know that may come that you don't have any control over, such as hospital bills, that you need to come before the council at that time and ask for those extra dollars instead of using current year's funds. So there are some solutions, there are some that can be made.
Mr. President, I cannot sugarcoat this. I will not sugarcoat this. This isn't an issue of $100 for last year's bill. This isn't an issue of not paying previous year bills for $1,000 or even $10,000. I am speaking about $2.5 million. This isn't an issue to be taken lightly. This isn't, I'm sorry. I was elected to be aggressive and speak for the people that cannot speak, and that's what I'm doing today. I do not want to say, hey, this is okay. I don't want to act like it's okay. It's an old saying I used to say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I hear all the time of, well, we've done this for 11 years. And what I'm also seeing is that we bonded. This is not even including other issues that's going to come up, lawsuits or whatnot. This is a serious issue. I love the idea that Ms. Franklin has said, and I will make sure I'm there. But this is something that cannot be taken lightly. And it's not the fact that I don't understand finances. I understand. But this is something that we need to address. I mean, I was clearly told all last year, and they said it will not happen this year. And it's happening already, beginning of the second quarter. We're looking at $2.5 million. Well, we're going to wait until we over $6 million? It's not a fact of processing the bill. We're deliberately going over the budget, deliberately, on purpose.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman said,
I think most of us try to be fiscally responsible, and when you keep adding to this past budget year, there were several council persons that added new positions. So we know, so to live within our budget and not increase, when you keep adding new positions that add to the cost of health insurance, is that being fiscally responsible? So, I mean, there's more than just this. There's more than just this. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Franklin?
I certainly am not taking any of this lightly, but I do feel that what I need to do as the chairperson, to sit down with our financial advisor, along with the sheriff, then we can understand better what is going on in that area. But for God's sake, please do not paint this picture that I'm breezing over this or we're taking it lightly. This is something we've never taken lightly with any of expenditures in any department. And that includes all of the council persons that have been here before and now at the present time. So I think it's no more than fair. Everybody's upset, and they're looking at, well, I'm gonna say upset. We all have taken a look, and we're looking at what is before us. I, as the chairperson, have every intention of trying to help the sheriff get to where we would like to see him and do everything we can do to make sure that this does not happen again. But to sit here it's too much to do right here. We need to do a financial committee meeting, and that's what I want to do. So, no, we're not glazing over this, Councilman Washington. This is not something that we're taking lightly. None of us. I've spoken with some of my other colleagues, and Councilwoman said this at one time was her committee, and trust me, she never, ever glazed over anything that as it related to the sheriff's department. So he has a big responsibility over there, and we do too. And we must make every avenue and every effort that we can to try to see if we don't have, this does not occur again. And at that time, I will be calling a committee meeting, and I will be asking for the committee members and our financial advisor to sit down with us and take a look at this. This is not something we can do right here and now. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, she said my name. I'm sorry. Councilman, she did say my name, so if I can respond. Here's the facts. The fact
Say it, I call for it to be deferred to while we keep debating it.
Councilman Jamal has, Washington has the floor. Councilman, you had to address the issue that Council Lady Franklin
mentioned. The facts, here's the fact. The facts remain, we're on pace, as I said before, $2.5 million. I don't want to turn this into a personal attack. I only want to talk about the facts. I don't have an issue with anyone here. My issue is the fact that we're over our budget at, right now, beginning second quarter, 2.5. And to be honest with you, I'm really not concerned with what we've done in the past, who's over the chair or anything of that nature. My only responsibility right now is, hey, wait a minute, $2.5 million, folks, and we just increased the tax to 1.5, and we already bonded. So those are my issues.
All right, I'm going to take a brief message. I have an opportunity, I haven't had a chance to speak because this is the second time it's been brought up about the 1.5. First off, every community out there, every tax unit out there has an opportunity to eliminate the income tax. This body has an opportunity to eliminate the income tax if it so chooses. This income tax and the money we appropriate is a custom, and it takes care of the incorporated county for the most part. I've adamantly opposed the bond. Matter of fact, I promoted other avenues of raising revenue to fix roads. I think bonding for those items is absolutely the wrong way to go. But that's just on my statement. Sheriff, if this is going to be the last comment. I'm sorry. I didn't see that you, I didn't know you wanted to speak next. Councilman, you have a point.
There's two concerns. One is the large amount of money. Number two, I did speak to the sheriff's bookkeeper, and she had told me that this was due to late billings. Am I correct?
Yes, and
Then I was told at the last work study session, that's not true. Also by yourself, no, it was because we're on money. Well, so I think we need to develop a plan. We need to develop a plan, working together, but I'd like to find out if we're out of money or the vendors are sending their invoices in late.
It's both. It's because of the pattern that you paid with, you're using this year's funds. So unless we, like right now, if these were approved and then they run out of money in 2016, so we need to appropriate money.
But
Maybe the procedure we're following isn't correct.
I asked Division 3, I asked Division 3 court, why, specifically, why is this coming in now? It was because the bill came in late. They were not short. I said, you're going to come back for more money. No, we will be caught up this year.
I think there's a proper venue for this to work through this, and I think we are going to look at handling these bills, and when the money is due, the money's due. I mean, we understand that now. Is the cost so extraordinary and so inflated that we have to look at it? I believe that's where we have to do some investigations, make sure that they are to be stewards of the taxpayers. You have to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. Councilman Bernal, then Sheriff, and I'd like to move on to the next item on the agenda.
No, it's been, this is, the dialogue is good. This is something that I've talked to the sheriff about several times. And, one thing that I hope that we get out of this is, to see that, this is the issue that we have our bills, and maybe we have to look at our budget, and fall a little bit better or closer, because this is an ongoing thing. And the sheriff knows that my concern. My voice, I'm going to lose my voice, I'm going to let Alan speak for the rest of the
Councilman Straw?
The idea of a budget is just that, a budget. You must live within your means. Without that, the system falls apart. We have to stay within our budget, and if we cannot, then we have to get ahead of the curve and figure out why it is, so we can make the adjustments the following year and not consistently fall behind. We have to do this. Otherwise, we're always playing catch-up. I like to use the analogy where we're digging a hole and we're throwing the dirt straight up. We're not getting anywhere. We're just digging a hole and it's all the dirt falling in on top of us. We got to get out of this hole. And we have to adjust our system. I think the sheriff is a great guy. I'm not happy with the bookkeeping method, but I've said that to him before. I think the sheriff, he's a great guy. And we have to adjust these things. I think we have to make some corrections on the system that we are using to pay these bills. Maybe Melanie is overworked, maybe Melanie is overbooked. Maybe we have to adjust that, maybe we have to do something here, I don't know. But I think we have to change our system. And I think when we do that, then we're gonna start making the steps towards fixing the problem.
Sheriff?
I'd like to I have a prepared statement I'd like to make. This is very, the Lake County Council workshop last Thursday. Discussion ensued regarding the items for payment requested by me for this meeting on today's agenda. Apparently, some of the members questioned the need of my request for payment of 2015 invoices in 2016. As you know, I, along with my budget supervisor, Melanie Hill, made every attempt to explain the purpose of the request. However, there seemed to be some uncertainties on the part of the council that led to accusations of budget mismanagement on my part. After much discussion last Thursday, some council members requested an investigative review by the council of my sheriff jail operating budget. It is no secret that I have one of the largest, if not the largest, budgets in county government. And because of this fact, I take very serious my responsibility of day-to-day administrative management of my department to which I am responsible. Since last Thursday's meeting, when these questions arose, I have found it very distressing that my administration and budget management would be called into question. I feel that now the time has come that we must immediately address these issues and your concerns head-on to correct and answer any misconceptions or misinterpretations you may have. I am therefore requesting a meeting either with the entire Lake County Council or council members so designated to meet as soon as possible to answer any and all questions and or concerns regarding the Lake County Sheriff's Department budgets. I further ask that this be a public meeting for transparency purposes. At this proposed meeting, I intend to go into great detail to carefully scrutinize my entire Sheriff's Department operations. I intend to have several members of my staff from every facet of operations available to explain operational costs, expenditures, and our budget system. I intend to go into great detail concerning our operational, medical, and mental health costs at my proposed meeting. I further request that this meeting be held as soon as possible or no later than the end of this month so as to clarify your concerns as rapidly as possible. In closing, may I kindly remind you that having possibly the largest budget in county government, that you take into consideration that the primary function of our agency are dealt with on a 24/7 jail management and law enforcement purposes. For years, I have enjoyed excellent working relationship with the Lake County Council. It is my sincere desire to once again restore our trust and confidence in one another and continue our good working relationship. And I thank you very much, and I hope that my request will be honored, and I'll open everything up to you, everything you possibly want, explain everything you possibly want, extend the expenditures, everything there is. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. In order to meet the request, we would defer to the chair, which is Council Lady Franklin, to schedule that meeting. That meeting to be public, and there be more than 3 council persons present, has to be advertised, which means that it has to follow the same guidelines as when we set up this meeting or any other budgetary meeting. So,
Mr. President, I think it should be for jail also, not just sheriff, but jail and sheriff. Yeah, both.
we would make sure, so if yourself and Council Lady Franklin would work together on a date and time, and to get with our attorney so that we can get to the staff to make sure that that meeting would be advertised properly, to give us enough time, Sheriff. And what's the minimum amount of days?
Well, it's 48 hours before, but I think something like this, you're going to want to do it.
What we heard to advance.
And I think you're looking at a time period to go over to explain the budget. It's not going to be done in an hour or two. But
Or maybe multiple meetings.
multiple meetings to go into, because there's different aspects that you want to go into. The DOJ mandate alone, I've got a stack for the DOJ reports everybody gets. I got a stack this high. So if you're going to do everything, you got to go through those. You got to go through.
It'll take a large amount of time also to go through
Hospital bills. I don't know how many paper boxes. So I mean, if you're going to do that type of in-depth review, you're looking at days. And again, to answer your question, you're looking at 48 hours before, but if I could suggest, most communications, both sides present to the mediator their positions backed up by documents. Now, each side to mediation doesn't see what the other submitted to the mediator, but that may not be a bad idea to submit, an agenda, not money for you, and back it up with your documents and explain everything beforehand.
I'd be happy to.
So that when you don't have a meeting, and this is the first time you're looking at this, I don't see how you get anything done. If you have to review it before, it's a suggestion.
Mr. President, I'd be happy to prepare an agenda. I don't care how long it would take. My staff and I will be available. If it takes hours, days, weeks, we'll be there to answer these questions and bring this to conclusion.
Let me take the vote. The roll call, the item on the docket right now is a deferral for an item. It's taken up quite a bit. I'd like to call for that vote, and then I'll take an opportunity afterwards to make a suggestion. So right now on the agenda is item number 21C5. There's been a motion by Councilman Ham and seconded to defer this item into May 10th, 2016. All those in favor of deferral, please say aye. Opposed? Ayes carried. At that point, that item number 21C5 has been deferred to May. If I would please, let me make one statement. I would suggest that